Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, Joe Biden's press conference was just the culmination of everything that we've learned about this guy. We knew about this guy. And one of the greatest tragedies is how Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, duped so many people, including those white suburban ladies outside the major Democratic cities. I don't know about you, but I'm scared. I really am. What he allowed happen in Afghanistan and the scene that went down, how do you think China feels? I mean, Taiwan feels relative to China. Europe, on and on and on. Joe Biden is an empty suit. He's being controlled by the most liberal, progressive, radical, socialist, and communist elements in our country. And as I mentioned yesterday, political Munchausen, just destroying things at work. I mean, I really do. I've used this as an example. If Russia invaded Alaska, I wonder what he would do. It's sad. And then you got Kamala, who didn't show up, did she? She didn't show up. She was bragging in April that she was the last one in the room with Joe Biden. Then you had Biden, while everything was going on in Afghanistan, he was concerned about, he was calling the superintendents of the schools and praising them for standing up to DeSantis' mask mandate. Kids' masks in Florida over what was going on in Afghanistan. And then you've got our political freaking Defense Department, Pentagon. You know, these guys told us that their Afghan army is ready to go. You know what? Don't let anybody fool you. The president of Afghanistan and company, when they knew the United States was out, they are in cahoots with the Taliban. Hey, you leave, you take anything you want with you, and we'll let you go. All the weapons and everything, and they asked the guy, well, what about securing all the hardware? Well, we haven't thought about that. I mean, it is like, we look like a bunch of freaking buffoons. A bunch of buffoons. Political generals. No problem solvers. And then, of course, Twitter allows Taliban to give tweets play by freaking play, but they banned Trump for freaking life. I want to tell you something. And I'm going to tie it into the Vax lawsuit that's coming. When there is real corruption and lies and everything else, it needs to be called out. It's amazing. It's amazing how corrupt this whole freaking country's gotten. The American Communist 10, corrupt as hell. Think about all the weapons that we left behind there. $2 trillion, all the infrastructure we left for Taliban. And how about the women of Afghanistan? Leave them hot and high to dry. Sorry about your luck. What did China say? China says they're looking forward to their friendship and cooperation with the Taliban. And when we say Taliban, we might as well say Al-Qaeda, because Al-Qaeda is right there with them. You had Leon Panetta. By the way, Biden is making me dream of the Obama years. I don't know about you, but the Obama years and the people that were running the country were not this freaking bad. Leon Panetta as Secretary of Defense, I was cool with that. He says, this is awful. This is awful. Awful. China taunted us. You know what China's media said? China says this transition in Afghanistan was smoother than our American election. The State Department actually comes out and says to the Taliban, will you please include women in your government? The kumbaya naive bullshit from the left. John Oliver, shifting out of Afghanistan. John Oliver, the liberal jerk that he is, says parents who are upset about their kids wearing masks are idiots. Does anybody know about John Oliver? Does he have kids? Is he gay? He seems like a British gay guy with no kids to me. I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong. John Oliver talking to us about kids, Really? He's just a little smartass. He makes money being a smartass. Nobody likes a smartass. Feminist groups. Don't you love their selectivism and how they stand up? What they, they never. Are you hearing any feminist groups worried about the Afghani women? It just shows how phony all the American Communist 10 and everybody connected to them are. How about this? Ex-Border Patrol chief says terrorists are pouring in. So we have what's happened in Afghanistan, where all the terrorists are going to go there for their training and everything else, and we got an open border to boot. Bad crap's going to happen, folks. Bad crap. And all of you that say, well, they're going to lose in the midterms, nobody's taking office till January of 2023. We have a year and a half, little less than a year and a half, more of this. Where will we be? Look at the destruction he's done in 8 months. Wow. Local issue, diocesan protest for the mass. I want to give it up for Cassie Schabel and Wesley Deters for covering it for Bulldog Media. Way to get out there and protest this awful issue. The Diocese of Covington ought to stand up to the governor. Stand up to him. Grow some cojones. Boy, could I say a lot. Megan Rapinoe. You hear about this? Fellow soccer teammates say that she would bully people into kneeling. I don't know about you, but Megan Rapinoe seems like a mean, nasty woman to me. She gets to land a Subway commercial. Last but not least, Joe Biden is now saying, booster shots for everybody. Booster shots for everybody. Unfreaking believable. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, I quote Teddy Roosevelt often. On the front of my Facebook page is my mantra. Aggressive fighting for the right is the noblest sport the world affords. KBA doesn't like aggressive. They don't want any aggressive fighting for your rights. The KBA doesn't, but TR does. TR also once stood, when he was running as president as an independent Bull Moose candidate, walking into a gigantic crowd convention center in Milwaukee, took a bullet in the chest. His speech saved his life, but he still had the bullet in him, and he was still bleeding. And TR still delivered the speech. And during that speech, he delivered an epic line. We stand in Armageddon, and we battle for the Lord. Yes, we do. We stand at Armageddon, and we must battle for our country.